Okay, so today we are going to start with the MRP type P1 to P4 and M1 to M4. Okay, they both have the same logic. So if you complete one cycle of either P1 or M1, it will be applicable for both. Okay, so I have given you this document in my folder which belongs to MRP type P1. Okay, and the cycle what we are going to run is for the M1. P1 stands for planning time and M1 stands for MPS materials. Okay, master production schedule. Now, what is master production schedule and why it is required? First of all, MPS is required for the material which are of very high cost. Okay, suppose you are manufacturing car. Out of that, what is the highest cost material or the component? It would be engine, all right, or it would be some chip which controls the complete engine functionality plus your car functionality. Okay, the chip could be one of your important as well as high cost material, right? So those materials, if you want to plan separately in SAP, then you can use MPS on them. Okay, MRP type will be MPS. So when you run MRP, you can plan separately the MRP types what we have seen so far, like PD, okay, VB, P1, all these are normal MRP types, and M1, M0 to M4 are MRP types that are falling under the MPS bucket. Okay, I can write it down here. M0 to M4. Okay, these are MPS MRP types, right? Used for high cost materials. All right. So you can go through this document later for P1 functionality. We will do M1 to M4. Another important thing, if you want to use P1 or M1, okay, from P1 to P4 or M1 to M4, the planning time fence, this particular field is required to be filled. Okay, now what is a planning time fence? So here I have mentioned, I have actually referred to someone else's document. This is not my document, but we can use. Planning time fence is a period which we define in the number of days. So this 5 is number of days. Okay, in your MRP1 view, it is a period which we can set so that the consequent MRP runs do not affect the plan, which falls under the PTF. So PTF is a short form of planning time fence. So you are actually creating one boundary, okay, for your plan so that MRP run or MPS run when it happens should not affect your plans. So what will happen if your plans or the plan order, the purchase acquisition, whatever is your output done by the MRP based upon your demand keeps fluctuating? What is the drawback of that? The drawback is if it is a plan order and it keeps changing, planner has to check the availability of raw materials as well as capacity, resources, everything. If you are planning for 1000 pieces in 1 month and suddenly that plan changes to 2000, right? You will not be able, the planners will be under trouble to accumulate or to find the complete resources. Do they have to do overtime? Enough machines are available or not, right? So plan once fixed should not be updated very frequently. If it is updated with some reason, it is fine. All right. Another reason is if your output is purchase requisition, especially for the raw materials, right? You are going to fix a vendor that okay, this particular vendor is going to provide me this particular raw material in 3 days so that I can complete my production activity. Now again, MRP run happens in the backend and then your plan is updated, right? So if again same example, 1000 pieces was to be procured, now it becomes 2000. That vendor will also not have stock. Okay, it could be and it could not be that he has complete stock. Then you need to find another vendor. So to avoid all the situations, we use planning time fence. So it's a boundary to fix your plan and not change frequently. Okay, in simple terms. So this planning time fence is also one of your interview questions which can be asked to you. Okay, so here we are having this P1, P2, right? This P2, P3, all the screenshots and the functionality it does is mentioned over here, but we will be also running the scenarios. So the material which I'm going to take is, let me go here, MTS 40. Okay. So FERT MTS 40 is something that I can use. If you have your own material, you can also use your own material, right? Press enter. First of all, check which MRP type is there. Here you can see MRP type in the MD04 screen or stock requirement screen. So we have to start from M1. So we will change this to M1. This is the date which I have tested one scenario yesterday. So MM02 or change material, you can go and update your MRP type there. So MRP1 view is required. Okay, planning time fence is something you can maintain here, and MRP type you can maintain from here. So if you see, there are descriptions already mentioned. So M0, okay, it is similar, but there is no firming. What is firming now? Another term, right? Firming means it is fixing your plan and it will not allow to change automatically by the MRP. Okay, you can go and update also firming manually, that I will show you how. System can also firm your orders or fix your orders like auto firming, and we can also do manual firming. Okay, so if you use M0, that means there is no firming, plan can be still changed. So that's why you have to use either M1 till M4 based upon your requirement. So here if you see M1 and M3, they belong to same category. Okay, if you read the description, they are same. The only difference is manual firming. So M1 to M1 and M3, they are same functionality, and M2 and M4 is same functionality, only with manual firming and auto firming difference. Okay, so we'll go with M1 first. And now this planning time fence. So how the planning time fence is calculated? If I give 15 days now, so from today, from my current date, here you can see, from the current date, it will calculate plus 15 days, and it will ignore or it will consider your factory calendar. So if you have Saturday and Sunday off or any holiday in between, that will be also ignored and your number of days will increase. Okay, so right now it is 15 days, so we will see that how it is calculated. Okay. So let us see if it is refreshed to M1. Okay, now we have current date as 6 and we have 28. So if I open this, current date is 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is holiday. 14, 15. Okay, why I know 26 is a holiday? Because I have checked factory calendar yesterday. So if I go to scal, I go to factory calendar. Factory calendar assigned is 01. I go to calendar and check 2022. Okay, check the December month. Here you can see 26 is your off, light green color. So if you calculate again from here, it will come the 15 days on 28th. So as soon as your date increases, this number of planning time fence day also keep increasing. It adds the number of day what you have mentioned in your material master. Okay. So this logic should be clear how it is calculating. And what is the significance of this, we will get to know right now. Okay. Now, so like I mentioned, we have to first of all give the demand, run the MRP, and see how it is behaving in M1. Okay. So if you double click on this here also, you can see the configuration which is done in the M1. So here it says new orders after the PTF. That means if I'm giving demand right now, any new orders which are going to get created by MRP run will be thrown outside the PTF. Okay. So MD61, we are going to enter. So if I'm giving it on December month as 20, okay, what will happen? It will consider this demand on 1st of December. That means it is falling under my planning time fence. If I refresh, it is falling on 1st. That means it is falling under my planning time fence. Here you can see this planning time fence is there and this is under. If I run MRP right now, as per my M1, it says that your planned orders will be created outside the planning time fence. Let us go and run the MRP. Now, another important thing which I wanted to show you. So if I'm using MRP live, okay, this is the normal run, MRP run, and I have other MRP runs also added. So MRP live can plan my MPS material as well as MRP material in one screen. Okay, if I use this MRP single level multi-level, okay, that means I can run it here and it will explode my bomb as well. Let us see if it does or not first. See, material cannot be processed with this transaction. If I view detail, then here it says that your it is using master schedule items. Okay, so MPS materials, if you're using M1 to M4, you cannot plan in the transaction of MD02, which is the classical MRP. So if you're in the older version of SAP, not an on S4 HANA, you will have to use another transaction to plan this. So let me see if it is there. MD41. It is not there, we can add. So it is MPS single level, multi-level. That means if you're running on the header material, the finished good, it will also plan your components. So we had two different transactions in the past. Okay, now this transaction MD41 will plan my material based upon my MRP type. Now let us see what happened. So planned order is created outside the PTF. Now this order is of 10 quantity. Okay, my stock is 10 and what is my demand? 20. So if I take this stock and this new planned order, that means I can achieve the target of 20 quantity, right? So M1 says that your demand, which is inside the planning time fence, and the plan orders will be created outside. Okay. Now, if there is any demand which is outside the planning time fence, will it consider or not? Okay. So we will see that also. So we need to have this screen open. Now I'm giving in the month of January, say again 15 quantities, and I'm saving it. Refresh. Okay, there is one demand which is falling outside the planning time fence. Now let us see if what happens if I run MRP again. So I'm using the same transaction, or I can use MRP live. Okay. Now what do you see? So anything which is outside the planning time fence also gets considered by M1. However, it will be all outside the planning time fence. So there is no plan order inside my planning time fence. Now, if I change this particular planned order inside the planning time fence, what will happen? So to do that, what I can do is I can go in the material master MM02 transaction and increase the number of days in the planning time fence, or I can enter some days here, manual firming date. Okay, so this planned order is of 28/12. So let me increase it to 29 maybe. This is 11. Okay. Now, as soon as I make it 29/12, what happens? The plan order which was outside on 28/12 goes inside my planning time fence. Okay. Now, do you see there is a small star mark here? This is called firming. If you see any star mark next to your planned order, that means this order is automatically firmed, which says by M1. So if I double click on this again, it says auto firming. Okay, so anything which is inside my planning time fence is auto firming done by the M1 MRP type. What happens when this firming is done automatically? Now if I change this plan, right? So what we have seen so far, as per my demand, if my lot is EX, that means as per my demand I'm getting the output. So suppose I change this to 30. My demand becomes 30 now in that particular month, right? If I refresh. Okay, now what will happen if I run MPS MRP once again? Ideally, if you're not using M1, this particular planned order will also get updated to 20 because you have 30 here, 10 here. So this automatically changes to 20 to meet your demand of 30. Is this correct? Right? So we'll run MRP once again. Now if I refresh, what happens? This particular planned order which is firmed, right, did not change. Rather, what happened? One new plan order again gets created to meet your current demand. So this 10 plus 10 and your current stock of 10 becomes 30. But this particular planned order does not get changed because this is firmed, this is fixed by M1 strategy or M1 MRP type, not strategy, M1 MRP type. So this is what will happen if you are using P1. Okay, same logic. So if you go to P1, here you can see the demand is created. If you run MRP, you get a plan order outside, right? And if you see this is of 20 quantity. Now if you change this to 15, again what will happen? This particular plan order does not get changed. Okay, I'm not going to read anything, but you can also take a reference which is stored in my folder here. Okay, in the C drive, here I have stored this document. You can go and read after the class. So is this clear? M1 is clear how it behaves. So this is the only functionality which M1 can do.
Can you relate it with
I'm sorry, your voice, yeah, it is full.
this?
Tell me once again.
Okay, can you relate it with the practical example? Because I could not able to relate it with any example, shop floor example. Uh,
Like I mentioned, right? So if your demand is there and you are using this for a high-end material, like suppose engine, right? Now you do not want to fluctuate your planning which already happened, okay, and you're using MPS on that particular material. It has to be used. I think you did not join on time, so it has to be used for only high end materials. You will not use M1 for all random materials. Okay, high end materials will cost you more if you keep changing the demand of that. Okay, your planning will be affected, your vendors will be affected, and if you have to produce, it will be also affected. The costing part is very high on those materials where you use MPS, and it has to be planned separately in the ECC. That's why there are two different transactions.
Okay, so is it a part of process to update uh, planning time frames manually after MRP run?
No, see, if you would know that I do not want to adjust my orders, say 20 days, okay? So that has to be done first before MRP run. So after the MRP run, okay, as soon as the days will pass here, your planning time fence is also increasing automatically based upon your current date. So as soon as you move forward, this plan order will automatically go inside the planning time fence.
Okay, clear.
Right, so I am showing you because I cannot move number of days here. I have to make it manually to show you how this firming will happen. And if you're using M1, automatically firming is happening. However, the manual firming is also possible. So if I take this particular planned order and I go inside, okay, mm, here. This is firming, right? So if you click on this particular planned order, okay, that means this particular planned order is manually formed by me. Okay, here you can again see a star. So if you're not using M1 MRP type and you still want to stick to your plan and you do not want MRP or MPS run to move or to change the quantity on this particular plan order, you can still mark it as formed manually. Then what will happen? This particular plan order will be not updated by your MPS or MRP runs.
Okay, clear. One more thing, if requirement will get reduced, in that case, what will happen?
Mm, get reduced? I didn't get reduced in the number of days because sometimes your voice is high and sometimes it is low.
No, independent request earlier was 30. Accordingly, MRP was run, but later
Uh-huh.
it was 10. But still, our plan order is 20. That
So you want to decrease this, you mean?
yes, yes.
Yeah, you can decrease to 5 also.
But plant order will remain same as a 20, no?
Plan order inside the planning time fence is 10.
Okay.
So inside is 10. If I refresh this, Okay, this will still remain 10 and this extra plan order will be deleted. Okay, because your demand is 5, your stock is 10, ideally there should not be any new plan. Okay, let us run MRP and see. But that plan order is formed, it will not be deleted. Now do you see? The extra plan order got deleted. Now here you can see this plan order being formed did not get deleted. So this is how it will do. Now what will M2 will do? Okay, that we need to see. So for that again we need to change. I'll open a new screen. So meanwhile it is searching, we'll see here. Okay. So with P2 or M2, with MRP P2, system will not consider the PIRs falling within the PTF or planning time fence. So what is happening in M1? Whatever PTF is there inside, we are considering in M1, okay, or in P1. But here in P2 or M2, it will not consider any planning time fence which is in the PTF. And if there is any plan order created outside the PTF, it will be deleted automatically if you update the MRP type. Plan orders or procurement proposals will be created only for the requirement which falls outside the